Good morning, Boker Tov and Chag Sameach. Good to be here together on this Tuesday, on this day of the of Pesach, on this Chol HaMoed, this regular day amidst the gathering of the sacred holiday. And it's good to be here together with you this morning. Good to see people coming in. Please do feel free to share greetings. Good morning, Annette. And with me, with everyone. It's really wonderful to be here on this Tuesday morning where we'll talk a little bit about the 1 day versus 2 day holiday of Pesach and share a poem about how that relates to the holiday at large. The poem wasn't created for that reason, and yet it functions that way as well. Well, it's wonderful to be here with you this morning to say to one, to all, Boker Tov, Boker O. Welcome to Boker Tov from Temple Sinai. Temple Sinai Congregation of Toronto's daily opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to remember. Good morning, Eleanor, and good morning to all as we gather here together to make it special another day, to ground ourselves in the tradition of our people as we begin a new day. And we begin with the English of our prayer for body and spirit. Please join me. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. Let's join together in the prayer for the soul. Eloi neshama shenatata bi Torah hi eta varata eta yitarta eta nefachta bi v'eta meshamra b'kirbi kol zman shahanshama b'kirbi modeh ani lefanecha Adonai Eloi v'Eloi avotai ribon kol ha'ma'asim adon kol ha'neshamot Baruch atah Adonai asher beyado nefesh kol chai beruach kol basar ish. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And as every day during Pesach is a learning day, let us recite our prayer for learning with even more commitment to say that we welcome the obligation to learn about our tradition and about our world. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. וערב נא אדוני אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av va'em, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Vashkamat ben midrash shacharit v'yarvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. Vachnasat ochim, to welcome the stranger. Uvikur cholim, to visit the sick. V'hachnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms. Ulvayat hamet, to keep faith with the dead. V'yun tefillah, to pray with sincerity. V'hava'at shalom ben adam l'chavero, to make peace when there is strife. V'tamud Torah keneged kulam. The study of Torah is equal to them all. Well, during our prayers this morning, we said that throughout the days of Pesach this week, it's a goal to recite the prayer, who has made me to be free, the third prayer on the page, each day during this time to consider our own freedom and what it means and the kind of opportunity and responsibility it represents. So today, to do it a little differently, we're going to try chanting the blessings. And but when we get to the blessing for free will at the bottom of the page and the blessing to set free the captives at the top of the next, after chanting them in Hebrew, we'll read the whole blessing in English before going back to chanting. Let's try that today. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lesechvi vina, lahavchin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzalmenu kidmutenu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, She'asani ben Horin in English. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have given me free will. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Malbish Arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Matir Asurim. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you release those who are held captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, orkah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gavel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Anoten leYa'ef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המעביר שינה מעיניי, ותנומה מעפעפיי. Let's continue singing Shema together, reading Ve'ahavta and chanting Vayomer. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Aved. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha. ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטעו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. That's very meaningful to be here together on this Pesach morning to recite prayers that are with us every day, but also for Pesach. And let us continue as we did yesterday with Ya'aleh V'Yavo, within Hebrew and English, the prayer that we say for each of those days in the midst of the holiday, just enjoying, praying, committing to being closer to the divine on these holy days. Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Ya'aleh v'Yavo v'Yizacher zichronenu, v'zichron kol amcha bet Yisrael lefanecha, לטובה, לכן ולחסד ולרחמים, לחיים ולשלום, ביום חג המצות הזה. זוכרנו אדוני אלוהינו בו לטובה, אמן. ופוקדנו בו לברכה, amen. והושיענו בו לחיים, amen. Our God and God of all ages, be mindful of your people Israel on this day of Pesach, and renew in us love and compassion, goodness, life, and peace. This day remember us for well-being, amen. This day bless us with your nearness, amen. This day help us to a fuller life. And as we find ourselves in the midst of Pesach, the midst of it is somewhat confusing, if you will, because yesterday was Chol HaMoed for us, but it was the holiday for Orthodox and conservative Jews outside the land of Israel only. And why is that? People will often misstate the reason that, especially modern people or Reform people, as if, well, once upon a time we didn't know which day was the right day, and so and so we do it because we're honoring that we weren't sure for a long time, but now we're sure, so we don't have to. It's not that at all. Already by the time of the Talmud, they recognized that in very ancient times, there was a manual day of marking the month and communicating the dates. And so there was an ancient time that they were unsure, but still 1500 years ago, they knew very well which day was which. But they had a discussion that since the people in the diaspora, minhag avotehem v'yadehem, that they had the practice of their ancestors was in their hands, that the rabbis made a gzera, a ruling, that they should forever keep those days, even though they knew which day was the correct one. That it was really about the ruling made by the rabbis, who said, no, we should, if we have to choose between what's connected, what our ancestors did, what we do now, let's always do what our ancestors did. But the disagreement is really about just that. It is about whether Judaism is primarily about carrying on in the steps of our ancestors, or whether it is primarily about honoring our ancestors by doing what we, in our view of the tradition, see and believe as the real and true tradition. And those often lead the same place, but many times they don't. And Pesach, I think, is a holiday where more than any others, we tend to be bound to what our ancestors did before us. It's, I think, what makes the holiday and Seder so special. And I think it's also what makes the Yizkor at the end of Pesach, which for us is this Saturday morning. Um, is what makes it so special. And so the journey that is Pesach is about connecting with a story and connecting about the story of our ancestors and our story, not some historical story. To help us along the way that way, it being a Tuesday, I want to share Rich Orloff's A Prayer to Begin the Journey. Slow down. This is not a task to be checked off a to-do list. Let us enter holy ground together, each of us alone, all of us interwoven. Let us begin a journey to those we love, but whose flesh and blood are no longer here. They ask not for us to grieve, but to hear their messages. We are connected to everyone who came before us, their bodies gone, their spirit within reach. This is the opportunity of this moment. We feel alone because of our barriers and the barriers others created around them, because we learned to blockade ourselves from harm, because we built walled cities to feel safe. To succeed in our quest, we must lower our guard against imagined enemies, discard the armor of tired assumptions, and move beyond the debris of worn-out stories. Even if we have traveled here before, let this journey take us on a new path. Let us be willing to be surprised as we welcome the souls of our ancestors. I really like those two last stanzas in particular, about lowering our guard and about letting go of imagined enemies, though there are real ones, tired assumptions, though we also make new ones, and worn out stories to tell stories in a new way or new stories entirely. Pesach is a time to see our enemies and our friends with open eyes and to reconnect with stories in a powerful way, our own stories included. Let's share his words one more time. Slow down. This is not a task to be checked off a to-do list. Let us enter holy ground together, each of us alone, all of us interwoven. Let us begin a journey to those we love, but whose flesh and blood are no longer here. They ask not for us to grieve, but to hear their messages. We are connected to everyone who came before us. Their bodies gone, their spirit within reach. This is the opportunity of this moment. We feel alone because of our barriers and the barriers others created around them, because we learned to blockade ourselves from harm, because we built walled cities to feel safe. To succeed in our quest, we must lower our guard against imagined enemies, discard the armor of tired assumptions, and move beyond the debris of worn-out stories. Even if we have traveled here before, let this journey take us on a new path. Let us be willing to be surprised as we welcome the souls of our ancestors. Our ancestors sang the Psalms of Hallel, and we're going to try again today to sing Psalm 114 after we say the blessing for Hallel as our celebratory moment on this gathering during Pesach. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hahallel. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. הייתה יהודה לקודשו, ישראל ממשלותיו. הים רב וינוס, הירדן יסוב לאחור, ההרים רקדו גלים, גבעות כבני צאן בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז, בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. Better today than yesterday. And tomorrow, Rabbi Shaner, also Cantor Shaner, will be leading the service tomorrow. Even more reason to enjoy the singing. But we continue now, having taken this time on this intermediate day of Pesach to connect and reflect, to take time to remember, recalling the loved ones who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. During the period of the last 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of Phyllis Schwartz, Pauline Finkelman, Valerie Fox, Gary Brown, Hagit Chovav, Nora Boyd. And we also remember all victims of war and terror, including terror victim Moshe Musa Horan. And on Yahrzeit, on the anniversary of their deaths, on this 17th day of the month of Nisan, the 15th of April, 2025, we honor the life and legacy on Yahrzeit of Frida Brown, Sylvia Kurland Feldman, Harry Fisher, Harry Goldcrand, Rita Leventhal, Frida Lipset, Sheridan D. Scheinhoft, Samuel Shiner, Miklos Shamir, Esther Weiner. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh rabba, be'alma divrach uruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, b'argala u'bizman kariv v'imur, amen. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תשבחתה ונחמתה. דמירן בעלמה ועמו. אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועמו, אמן. עושה שלום במומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועמו, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, amen. And thank you, Eleanor, before we go, for reminding me that accidentally I made my way past the prayer for those in need of healing today. And so let's join in that prayer and also include in it the prayer for the hostages. For all those whose names have been given to me and given to Temple, for those names that have been added to the chat in this and other services, for all who are in need, let's offer these words of refuah. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל, הוא ירפא את כל מכותינו. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו לך עמם ולרפאותם, וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה, ותרת שלום, ונאמר amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and let us say together, amen. Well, Boker Tov, Boker O, thank you for adding those names and for reminding me. It's on these intermediate days when there are other prayers, so many different things are in our hearts, and we want to honor and pray for all. Boker O, Boker Tov, It's wonderful to have you with us today. Looking forward again to being here together tomorrow. Boker